What is good, my Impact Wrestling fam? Welcome to your first edition of G's Trivia House right here on the TNA IW channel. My name is Jeff, and I am super stoked to be presenting this to you today. I've been working on different versions of these, from Batman to Ghostbusters, X-Men, and Snick, but this is the one I'm most excited to do and most excited to present to you guys here on this channel. I have a lot of thanks to give out to you guys that have been watching us throughout the past 4 years. Crazy. And to Impact / TNA in general that I've been watching since June 19th, 2002, man. I won't give too much into that because I'm sure there'll be stories along the way, but you guys can play along with this. I really hope you do. It's 6 rounds, 25 questions, up to 50 points, and then you can leave your scores in there. We can have a dick swinging contest over who did better, or you could just watch along and take the nostalgic ride, laugh at me, and used to it, or laugh along as you remember the past of TNA / Impact. There's some obviously great things we're going to talk about, but I hope I hit on some of it. There's definitely things I'm going to leave out, but either way, I hope you guys have fun with this. I'm going to walk you through step by step, round by round, explain the games, explain if you want to play at home what you can do with the pen and paper or your phone or your desktop or whatever in between. Easily playable to play along with. So let's get right into it. We're going to start with our first question. It's 1 through 8. It's the game called Together. Together is a very simple game to explain. I'm going to overcomplicate it as usual. But Together is just the gimmick name for matching. We've all done it, if you've done from coloring books to schoolwork. Here is question 1 through 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Write that down now. And then I'm going to reveal A through H, the wrestlers that can be the answers. I'll go through each question to explain, but your job is to put A through H, each of those wrestlers, to the answer. They could be used multiple times. They could be used none at all. That's for you to decide. But you could see Austin Aries, Eric Young, Gail Kim, Josh Alexander, Kurt Angle, Samoa Joe, Taya Valkyrie, and Taylor Wilde can be your answers. But let's start with question 1. Who is the longest reigning Impact World Champion? A through H, write that now. And feel free to pause, feel free to skip along, whatever you want to do, whatever floats your boat. Let's just have a good time with it and cross that line. 2. Who is the longest reigning Knockouts champion? Number 2. Who is the longest reigning Knockouts champion? 3. We're going to stick with the Knockouts. Who is the longest reigning one of the longest reigning Knockouts tag team champions? Who of these 8 is one of the longest reigning Knockouts tag team champions? Sorry if I get redundant. I'm just going to drive it home. 4 is longest X Division champion, longest reigning X Division champion. Whose reigns are the longest? You can see the trend, and ending with number 5. Who is 1/2 of the longest Impact Tag Team Champions? All right, so that was 1 through 5. We're going with longest. And now number 6 is actually who is the youngest Knockouts champion of all time? 8 options there. Can we narrow it down? Number 7 is who has the most Impact World Championship reigns. Out of these 8, who has the most? It is the record, but the person's within these 8. And last but not least, who has the most Knockouts World Championship reigns? So that was question 1 through 8. Once again, feel free to pause. Do this at your own beat and pace. But when you're ready, we'll move on to the next game, which is called 4 Choices. 4 Choices is up next, and 4 Choices is just the gimmick name for multiple choice. So if you're playing at home, I want you to write 9, 10, 11, and 12 down now. And you're going to answer them A through D once I read the question and give you the 4 options. Let's get right into it. We're going to start with question 9, which is TNA debuted on June 19th, 2002 from Alabama. But which day of the week did it fall on? Was it A, Tuesday night pay-per-view? Was it B, a Wednesday night pay-per-view? C, a Thursday night pay-per-view? Or D, a Sunday night pay-per-view? So question 9, A through D, is it Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or Sunday? Question 10. The TNA video game character Suicide came alive in Impact, but in the video game, who voiced him? Was it A, Daniels, B, Kazarian, C, Low Key, or D, Chris Sabin? So question 10, who voiced Suicide in the TNA video game? Underrated video game. And moving on to 11. Sting debuted on the 1-year anniversary show in 2003. Also a blank night pay-per-view. Against Sean Waltman and who? So Sting was in a tag team, and he faced the tag team of Sean Waltman, a.k.a. X-Pac, Six-Pac, and was it A, AJ Styles, B, Jeff Jarrett, C, Kevin Nash, or D, Scott Hall? Who was his bandmate on the 1-year anniversary for Sean Waltman, a.k.a. who was Sting's opponent? All right. Question 12, the last one for 4 choices. Kurt Angle debuted face-to-face with Joe, but which pay-per-view was his signing announced? Oh, Joe. Sure. So face-to-face with Joe, we know that. We've seen that. The headbutt, the blood, great moment, all the hype. But which pay-per-view was his signing announced? As you can see in that, the great intro vignette, I guess, montage. I don't know what the hell you want to call it. It's real. It's damn that one. Man, there's a really cool video. I don't know if it's on YouTube. I haven't seen it in years, but the whole crowd was Goldberg, like kind of sarcastically saying, TNA's gonna bring Goldberg. And when that thing hit, man, woo, man, I got deadass got goosebumps right now. What a night that was. But did it happen at A, Bound for Glory? Did it happen at B, No Surrender? Did it happen at C, Turning Point? Or D, Victory Road? All right, A through D there. Feel free to go back if you need to. But we're going to move on to an X-Files game. Not the X-Files, but our X-Files about the X Division. X-Files is your next game up, and it's something I've been doing more recently that I'm really enjoying. We're going to take a look at some case files, some X-Files, if you will, in this case, because we're talking about strictly the X Division. And you're going to fill out the answers with no help, no choices, and no net to fall upon. This is strictly from your brain, but I think you can do it. We'll get right into it. Like I said, it's X-Files, not do-do-do-do. Is that how... That's a thing. It's these X-Files. It's your X Division, and the X Division wouldn't be what it is today if there was no Elix Skipper. But Elix Skipper, primetime Elix Skipper, you know him as. His associates were Daniels and Low Key, because X gonna give it to you. And the other one would be Lance Storm, because Team Canada, baby. All right. Titles, he was a WCW Cruiserweight Champion, as well as an NWA Tag Team Champion. But what I'm asking you here tonight, what's the name of his finish? Now, I know there's a couple. Don't Google them. But off the dome, what was his finish called? There's one in particular, but I'll give you credit. We'll talk about that later. And we'll move on to question 14. Love you, Elix Skipper. All right, next up is another X Division character. Didn't last too long, but he was billed from Tijuana, Mexico. He debuted in 2011. His associates that we know of are Amazing Red, I hear, and his finisher was a springboard cutter. All I want to know is, what's the dude's name? He had the baddest gear in the... no. But what's that character's name? All right, that wrestler's name, excuse me. Move on to question 15. Here we go. This guy, I also want to know his name. His moniker was 1000% Guapo. He's billed from Los Angeles, California. Promotions was CMLL, New Japan, us, of course. And he's been in a McDonald's commercial. If you didn't know, he's the guy from McDonald's commercial. His finish was the shockwave or the corkscrew elbow. But what is his name? What is his name? All right. And last but not least, question 16 for X-Files. This is the Ultimate X. We're getting it here at episode 1000, which I'm very excited about. But it debuted in August 20th, on August 20th, 2003. The most matches are 18, and that's to Chris Sabin. And the most wins are 8, and that's also to Chris Sabin. But who is the kayfabe creator? In the lore of Impact / TNA / NWA TNA, who created the Ultimate X? All right, guys, write down your answers there. Once again, feel free to pause. Do some soul searching. Do some 20-plus years of memory recollection. And we'll move on to a new game called Emojional. Emojional is a new game that I came up with just for this instance. And I want to see how it does. I think it'll be fun. Give it a chance. But if you're playing at home, this is question 17, question 18, question 19, and question 20. So 4 more questions. And we'll get right into it because the picture is so dated and great. I love it. But all you're going to do here is look at the 10, in some cases 5 and 5 emojis, and put together what wrestler you think the phone is, person on the phone is trying to explain to the who dis. I don't know. Make sense? All right, let's go for it. So not only is Kurt Angle there with a flip phone, question 17, I'll run down the emojis and I want you to write the wrestler. New phone who dis. This is the response. You tell me who they're trying to suggest. So this person's got a trophy. It means they were a champion or are a champion in the history. Got an Italian flag. It looks like some kind of racing car. We got a rose, some art, some paintings, a violin, a crown, some drama and comedy masks. I'll put it that way. And some books. Who is this person? Who is this person? And we'll move on to 18. So this one's a tag team, and with tag teams, you're going to get 5 and 5 compared to the 10 you get for a singles. So I'll explain to these yet again. This is question 18. This trophy represents they've been a champion for the company in some capacity. We got a little beach set up there. We got a little rocker symbol. We got a guitar, electric guitar, and that cigarette. My emojis were limited, but it's supposed to be a cigar. Okay. And you add that to his tag team partner. We also got a champion here. Maybe they're champions together, maybe singly. We got a scarf. We got a martini. We got a little halo going on. And we got a little medal. Looks like a general's medal, if you will. All right. Which tag team does that represent? And we move on to 19. Question 19. This is a singles wrestler. So you get 10 emojis. He's a champion. This person's a champion at some capacity for the company. We got a pencil. Who knows what that means? We got a tooth, a blood droplet, thumbtack, a sewer hole, or if you're looking at it straight up. We got a coffin. We got the scales of justice. We got a mirror, and we got a stethoscope. So maybe there's a doctor in the building, right? I think I need a doctor in the building. But which singles wrestler is number 19? And last for this Emojional game, we got question 20. This person also a champion. These people, excuse me. So we got a tag team here as well. Both a champion. We got a shot of some kind. We got a parrot, graduation hat, and some sunglasses. And then we got some pancakes, the U.S. flag, a boxing glove, and a gaming controller. Take your time. Feel free to pause and look these over. But 17 and 19 are a single wrestler. 18 and 20 are a tag team each. Check it out. Write down your answer. And then we'll move on to squad game. We're moving on to squad game, the second to last game. I hope you guys are enjoying yourself. I'm trying to keep it speedy so it's an easy viewing / play along. But I promise if you guys like this, because that's what it's all about, I'll try to squeeze some more out. I'm really enjoying myself. You can see I'm cheesing. I love Impact Wrestling. I love TNA. There's no, I'm not hiding my bias and my fanboy for it. But I hope the people playing along are right there with me, man. Because I'm having a good time. But let's move on to Squad Game. And the reason I'm cheesing is because I know what's coming. I love factions. I'm a big fan of factions. And Impact /TNA/NWA TNA and on has had some really good factions. And all you're going to do, I'm going to show you 4 wrestlers like this. And you're going to tell me which faction they were a part of. That's simple. This is question 21, 22, 23, and 24 if you're playing along at home. And question 21 has Desmond Wolfe, my favorite. I actually have that jersey. I don't know if I still have it. I probably don't. I probably grew out of it. But I have that one. I loved it, man. Loved Desmond. You got Doug Williams. You got the blueprint, the DNA of TNA, Matt Morgan. And you got the fallen angel, Christopher Daniels. Which group were they part of? Question 22. For question 22, we got another 4 amazing group of wrestlers here, right? We got Alex Shelley, the current Impact World Champion. You got the Canadian Destroyer himself, Petey Williams. You got Rhino, the War Machine. And you got the soon returning Devon Dudley, brother Devon of Team 3D. Which faction were these 4 guys part of? 23. 23's 4 is an interesting crop, man. You got the Great Sonata, the current IWGP champion. You got Shira doing the Shira shuffle there. Can't remember that. You got TJP, one of his many monikers with Impact. And you have, or gimmicks, whatever you want to call it. And then Serena Deeb. Serena Deeb. Current AEW star, Serena Deeb. Which faction were they all part of? And then last but not least, question 24. You got Low Key, you got Bobby Lashley, you got the 187 Homicide, and you got Kenny King, the DMC, Kenny King. Which group are they part of? So 21, 22, 23, and 24. I want the names of the factions. And just a little Easter egg, those question marks are on point with the names. All right, guys, give yourself some time to answer that, or maybe you've already whipped right through. But stay tuned. We're going to go right on to the last question worth up to 6 points called Picture It. This is your last question for the evening, and it's a game called Picture It. It's question 25 for you playing at home, and this one's a little different. If you're playing at home, I want you to write down 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 in descending order. Because what's going to happen here is I'm going to, one by one, reveal a clue and take away a piece of the puzzle, revealing a part of a picture of the wrestler we're trying to guess. And every time I reveal one and reveal a clue, and a picture, I want you to write down your guess. This will play a part at the very end when we do the scoring, but wherever you get it right, when you look back on it, is how many points you get for this game. Make sense? Let's try it out. All right, so we're going to start with clue 1, and then I'm going to reveal the picture, and you're going to write down your answer. Clue 1. This person was a wrestler and authority figure, in some capacity for both, for Impact TNA, NWA TNA. This person was a wrestler and authority figure. Okay, write down your answer. Clue 2. In some capacity, using that again, this person was part of WWE, WCW, ECW, ROH, and NXT. Write down your answer after that picture is revealed. Did that help? So that was for 5 points if you get it there. Once again, we'll score later, but I want you to write down an answer for each of these. Keep it going here. We got our next clue. This person is in the WWE and the WCW Hall of Fame. WWE and WCW Hall of Fame. Number 3. This person is synonymous with the pattern. I'll give you a hint. It's not flannel, even though they're wearing it right there. All right, second to last clue. This person's office when he was an authority figure was his truck. Whose back of the truck was their office when they were the authority figure here? And last but not least, the last clue, if you will. This person's sons are wrestlers in the game still today. Who is it? Can you guess? Write down. I want to see all your answers. Hopefully you played along. But either way, we're going to move on to answer sheet next, and we'll see how you guys did. All right, guys, we're moving on to the answer sheet. I hope you guys had a good time. That's what it's all about. Who cares how good you did or how bad you did or anything in between? Did you have fun walking down memory lane with me? Feeling the nostalgia. I know there's so much I could have touched on, and I hope that this is something you guys enjoy. So maybe we could do another one soon, and I could touch on more of those things. But I love Impact, as I said. I love TNA, man. And to get to share this with you guys, to hopefully give you a little bit of time to enjoy something and get out of the mundaneness of life. I hope it succeeded. I had a good time, and I thank you for that, guys, and all the good times you've given me so far with this channel and through Impact. But let's get on to this. 1 through 8 was together. We had the longest reigning, the young, all those different ones. We're going to buzz through them. But number 1, the longest reigning Impact World Champion, Josh Alexander. D, longest reigning knockout was Taya Valkyrie. G. 3 was one half of the longest knockouts tag team champion, a tricky one, but Eric Young. B. 4 for the X Division longest, Austin Aries. And then 5 for the longest tag, one half of the tag was Josh Alexander again, so another D. 6 was the youngest knockouts champion in history, Taylor Wilde. And 7, the most Impact World title reigns was Kurt Angle. And C, 8 was Gail Kim for knockouts most reigns. So D, G, B, A, D, H, E, C. All right, ABC, 1, 2, 3. Let's move on to 9 through 12. This was 4 choices. We'll get to the scoring in just a moment. Just mark what you got right or wrong here. But the pay-per-views, June 19th, 2002, it debuted on Wednesday B. For who voiced the suicide in the game, it was C, Low Key. All the other ones, I believe, played them. I don't know. Sabin was on there, so maybe not. But Kazarian and Daniels both got to play him. 11 was who was Sean Waltman's tag team partner during Sting's debut match for Impact, or for TNA. It was AJ Styles, A. And then where did Kurt Angle's debut video, vignette, whatever you want to call it, the It's Real moment, was B, No Surrender. Right after that, we're moving on, guys. We're going to keep going through to X-Files. X-Files for Elix Skipper. We're asking what was the name of his finish. Now, he had a few, so if you said Edge of the Blade, Sudden Death, or Instant Replay, cool, you get your points, give yourself a check. But I was looking for Play of the Day. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he used it in WCW and then in TNA as well. 14, who was the wrestler with the mask and the gear? That was Sangriento, played by Amazing Red. I make a lot of references to him on the main pod there. 15, who was the Lucha Libre star who was in the McDonald's commercial? He was in the McDonald's commercial. He was in the McDonald's commercial. If you watched back then, you know what I'm talking about. But his name was Shocker. Shocker. 1000% guapo. And then last but not least for X-Files, who kayfabe invented the Ultimate X? If you're a fan of the Anthem eras, newer, you know this probably a little bit better. Or maybe a NWA TNA-er, but it was Don Callis. Don Callis is the kayfabe creator. 17 through 20 are your emotional ones there. We had the Ferrari. We had a Rose for her Rosebud time. We had the Drama and the Crown because the Drama King and her won Homecoming. It was Deonna Purrazzo, 17. 18, the Beach and the Rock, the Martini and the Ring General. Bad influence, Kazarian and Daniels. 19, we had the Teeth. RVD knocked him out. We had the Tax. We had the Joseph Parks scale. We had the Mirror because he's beautiful, right? It was Abyss as 19 as your answer. And then 20, I couldn't fit it in there, but it's Lethal Consequences. And I can't say it either. Jay Lethal and Consequences Creed, a.k.a. Xavier Woods. But you had the Parrot and Injection, so the Lethal Injection. You had the Parrot because Lethal is just an amazing mimic. An impressionist, and then the Pancakes and Video Games, baby. That's for Austin Creed, man. Did you get those right? Let's find out, but let's also move on to Squad Game. Squad Game was the other pictures, and you tell me which faction they were part of. And we start with Doug and Desmond, Daniels and Morgan. It was the Fortune 4. More fringe guys, right? I try to stay on the edge here to trip you up, but the original Fortune 4, man, with Desmond, man. I wish he had, I don't know, woulda, coulda, shouldas, right? Next up, 22, you had Shelly, Rhino, Devon, and P.D. Williams. They were part of the front line, going against the main event Mafia. You had the front line. You had Revolution up next, with Sonata, Serena, TJP or Manic, and Shira. They all got different names. What was Shira's? Was Kyoza? You had Manic. The Great Sonata was his redo, right? I don't know what Serena's was. Once again, someone help me out. And last but not least, low key, Bobby Lashley, Kenny King, and Homicide were the beatdown clan. Something that could have been so great. Damn you, Hernandez. And last but not least was the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. Now, like I said, 6 through 1, that's why I had you write it down each time. Where did you get Dusty Rhodes right? Was it after clue 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1? That's how many points you get. And we'll move on to the scoring system and wrap this up. So 1 through 8 were 1 point each. So together, 4 choices were 2 points each, 9 through 12. 13 through 16 X-Files were 2.5 points. 17 and 20 Emojional, the same. 21 through 24 for Squad Game were 2 points. And then 25 was up to 6 points. Add them up. How did you do? And then I want you to look at the ranking there and drop the emoji in the comments if you want to admit your score, man. There's no shame in the game. You got drop a diamond if you got 40 plus points, a medal if you got 30 to 39. Get your flowers if it's 20 through 29. 10 through 19, I gave it a try. And 0 through 9, I was the drizzling shits, but who cares? It was fun. Hit like and subscribe. I hope you guys enjoy this. I can't stress that enough. Put some love into it. I'll put more into the next one if you guys like it. Thank you for rocking with me. Thank you for walking down memory lane. Thank you for playing this. And thank you to Impact for the 1,000 episodes. See you guys next time. Thank you for coming out. God bless and good night. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.